What up? It's your boy A9, and we back with another episode of A9 Cast, episode number 23. In a different spot, you know what I'm saying? In the room, you know what I'm saying? New setup, microphone, all that, you know what I'm saying? I'm just looking up the topic of the day. But new microphone came in a few days ago. I have 3 songs coming up on YouTube either tomorrow or today or of whatever day. 3 songs coming this week. Also, 3 songs going on streaming platforms. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited, you hear me? But 2 of the 3 songs was recorded the way I usually record music, which I might just go in and re-record it. I'm thinking about it, but two of the 3 songs that's coming out was recorded with just my headphones hooked up to my iPad, the way I've been recording all my songs. One song, which is a song I made like super late at night, got off work, the microphone came in, let me try it out, let me just put this song up. So one song was recorded with the mic. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be able to tell the difference. Now let's get into what I want to talk about today. Okay, so at work, you know what I'm saying? Listen to the podcast. They get to talk about P-Diddy's, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, whatever his name is, his letter to corporate America. The same feet these companies use to stand with us in solidarity are the same feet they use to stand on our necks. When confronted by the leaders of several black-owned media companies, General Motors listed My Network Revolt as an example of the black-owned media it supports. While Revolt does receive advertising revenue from GM, our relationship is not an example of success. Instead, Revolt, just like other black-owned media companies, fights for crumbs while GM makes billions of dollars every year from the black community. Now, I got to think about what cars are under GM, but he might be right. I'm not going to say he's wrong, but he might be right. Exposing GM's historic refusal to fairly invest in black-owned media is not an assassination of character. It's exposing the way GM and many other advertisers have always treated us. He's pretty much using them as an example. No longer can corporate America manipulate our community into believing that incremental progress is acceptable action. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Out of the roughly $3 billion General Motors spent on advertising, we estimate only $10 million was invested in black-owned media. Only $10 million out of $3 billion. Like the rest of corporate America, General Motors is telling us to sit down, show, and be happy with what we get. Now, that percentage is crazy. When you consider $10 million is only, let me do my math right, $10 million is only 1% of a billion, if my math is right. 10 million, yeah. 10 million is 1% of a billion. So 10 million to 3 billion, that's only like 0.3%. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might be wrong. My math might be wrong on that, but it's still is less than 1% of advertising money going straight to black-owned media, which is crazy. It's disrespectful that black-owned media companies don't represent 1% of the total advertising market. It's disrespectful that distributors refuse to carry black-owned media brands in an era where our impact and influence is undeniable. It's disrespectful that the same company that represents 14% of the population and community, and spends over 1.4 trillion annually is the still most economically undervalued and undeserved at every level. To repeat, 1.4 trillion annually, the almighty black dollar. So, enough reading that. So a lot of people are pretty much saying, "Hey, Puff, you wrong for this because you have done bad business," which you have done bad business with certain artists and artists who are trying to get the rights to their stuff back and try and do this and do that. You over here preaching this and that. Yet there are artists who have separate stories saying that you've done this to them and you won't pay them or different stuff like that. They talked about this on the Joe Budden podcast, so that's why I want to bring it here because, I felt like the message from one side was being confused or being put out wrong, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how they were taking what was being said, but for the people who are saying Puff should not be fighting for more money to black media, and getting crumbs off of what they're making off of us, giving us crumbs off of what they're making off of us, you got to think of how that's different from the music industry. You know what I'm saying? So they control where that money goes 100%. There is no contracts. There's no paperwork to say this community deserves this amount of money. They decide how much money they want to give that community. You know what I'm saying? When contracts is involved, a person has to sign a legally documented paper that says, I accept that I will receive this percentage of this amount of this money that is made from this, right? So, for example, somebody signed a record thing. They don't feel like reading the contract, but in the contract it says, out of sales, profit, out of all the money we make off of your music, you are only going to get 15%, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Royalties, you get 50% royalties, 50% this, 50% that. You sign that paper that said that is what will happen. So that is what you will get. And later on down the line, you could complain and say, hey man, I've done put all this music out and did this, I done did that, and I'm only getting this amount and they're making this much off my music. That's not fair. I want my money. You signed a paper that said that you are giving away 85% of all your music, your creative thoughts, your creative ideas, everything. You gave 85% of that away to that person. So they don't owe you anything because you gave it to them. You know what I'm saying? And the only way for you to get it back is, of course, to buy it back, because that's how business works. This situation that Puff is talking about is not, black people did not sign a contract with General Motors saying, you owe us, all the money you make off of us. Because think about $3 billion, okay, on advertisement. 10% already said that's less than 1% of the money. Nobody stepped forward on behalf of all black people and signed a contract with General Motors saying that we only will accept that we're only going to accept 0.3 or whatever the percentage is of advertising dollars, because that's what we signed, so that's what you're going to give us. No, they control how much money they're going to give to who they feel deserves that money. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, there's a difference between a person signing away something to somebody else and wanting it back later, and somebody not doing that. General Motors could put about 10 times the amount of advertising dollars that they put in the black community or whatever if they wanted to. But not the black community, into black media if they wanted to, as far as sponsorship and stuff like that. But they don't want to. Those black media, they didn't sign a contract saying, because he's not saying me. He's saying me and other black medias only got 10 million last year off of y'all, and y'all made $3 billion. So you gotta think how much black media they have. You know what I'm saying? Not only Revolt, but just, I think BET does media, like just different, and 10 million. So you gotta divide 10 million by however many black media companies they have. That's not that much money, especially if you just made $3 billion. And we're promoting to our people. We're promoting your product to our people. So yeah, of that of however much you made overall last year, y'all definitely made more than $10 million off of black people buying General Motor cars, General Motor vehicles. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So as far as Mace concerned, Mace sold his voice, sold his likeness, sold his masters. He sold whatever it is that Puff has. He sold it to Puff for a small amount of change. Puff is getting the percentage that he is owed off of what Mace gave to him, and Mace is getting the percentage that is left over after he gave that away. There's no similarity, because black people didn't give away anything. We giving money to General Motors. The only thing they ask is, hey, support our media. You know what I'm saying? Support us. And it's not even just General Motors, it's companies in general that they talking about. $1.4 trillion a year. It's a lot of money. Whole lot of money. No man has that much money. That's how much money that is, you know? and we giving away every single year to different companies. Yet we only get a small percentage back to our companies, to our businesses. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even about the black community and how much money going to the black community. You know what I'm saying? Which it is about that, but it's more about our businesses. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to put so much money, 1.4 trillion, into y'all businesses, and we only get 0.5% back, that ain't right. We ain't signed no papers saying that we only deserve 0.5% back in sponsorships and advertisements and all the stuff to support our business and to also support your business. We didn't sign no contract. You got to do what's right. If the papers say, okay, we made $50 billion this year off of cars, 20 billion of that 50 billion was purchases by African Americans, by Hispanics, by this and by that. So since that's 20 billion, okay, we're going to look for Hispanic businesses, Hispanic media, black businesses, and we don't got to put the 20 billion into them. We're gonna start small. Let's put 200 million. Let's just go around and look for businesses that we believe in that are run by the blacks and Hispanics, and let's just put some money into them as far as advertising and whatever we want to do. Let's do that because it's right, because we done made $20 billion off of them. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? And that's pretty much what he's saying. They have control over how much they get. There were no contracts saying that. So you could go the other way and be like, yeah, they have control. So if they want to get that to y'all, they're going to get that to y'all. But if we is helping your business strive like crazy, why you can't do the same for us? You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to what's going on with the artist, and the artist did this and the artist did that, and he did this to that artist and this and that, it's kind of like there's legally binded paperwork that break down how much you're going to get. If you sign that, if you didn't read it, that is your fault. If you signed it, that is your fault. And if you like what they were saying on the podcast, he's willing to give it back to you, but he's not going to give it back to you for free, because that's not how business works. If you want to do business, let's do business. Don't expect a handout. You know what I'm saying? Because what you are asking for is valuable. If I give it to you for free, then you're devaluing what you are asking for. If you want it back for free, then you must not see much value in it. You just want it back just to want it back. If I give you a movie that I feel is worth $50,000 in my head, you know what I'm saying? I give it to you like, now you can have it. Give me $50,000. You can have this movie. You can put it out, and it become a blockbuster movie. And then I'm like, hey, that's my movie. I want it back. Okay, you can have it back, but you got to pay for it because it's a blockbuster movie now. I can't give it to you for free. It's not like it was a flop. The movie didn't flop. The movie is doing good. We making good money off of it. So if you want it back, we gonna give it to you, but you gotta pay because what you created is valuable. And and that's pretty much what the whole situation is as far as me. If you don't have the money to buy back what you sold to me, then I can't give it to you. Plain and simple. That is irrelevant and has not much to do with just supporting black businesses and putting more money into supporting black media and just different things, especially when they've given you, because Mace didn't give Puff no money. He made Puff money, but he didn't give him money. Black people are giving these companies money for their products. So it's only right that you return it by supporting black people. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. But that's pretty much it. If what I'm saying is confusing to you, I'll try and find a way to break it down a little better at a later time if it's confusing people. But that's just how I'm taking in what's going on. There were no papers. There was no, none of that is involved. So yeah, morals and stuff like that, it's, you know what I'm saying? If the business is this way in the 90s, we're going to give you the typical 90s artist contract. Artists they was making money, but it ain't like it is now. So you signed a basic 90s music contract, so you got basic normal 90s money from it. If you want it back in the 2020s, you have to pay for it because yes, you helped put Bad Boy on the map, this and that. Good for you. But guess what? You still sold me all this stuff that you gave me. I can't just give back to you because you helped me. You helped keep us afloat after Biggie died. You know what I'm saying? I don't owe you a favor because you gave it to me. Got to do business. That's business. But that's it for me. I'm out. Too sweet. Deuces.